Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Catholic, Season 2, Episode 2. Lord, teach us to pray. To kick off this episode, Jewel, what do you think are some attitude towards prayer?
Attitude, I feel like, Jesus taught us to pray our Father. And in the first sentence itself, it's there, Father. So that first attitude, knowing that God is our Father, going to Him in that love, and not just for things that we need, and just going and sitting with Him as is your Father, just calling on Him like Abba. Just sit there, that's the first. Love comes first, and then in that we get that sense. Sometimes we may experience, maybe you might be feeling cold, feeling like warm, but that's not what we are sitting for. Experiences may or may not come, but that shouldn't change our attitude towards prayer. We should.
I mean, even when you say that, it's funny because I've talked to youth before and they're like, oh, that. I'm like, how does the adoration? They're like, oh, it was all right, but I didn't really feel anything. I'm like, that doesn't mean that the adoration was bad or anything like that. So usually, like what you said there, you use as a metric on how good that adoration was. If I'm not feeling thunder come down from heaven, the adoration wasn't good. But I think what you're saying there is very true. Like it's not what you're meant to feel. It's that you know that God's there and you're there for a reason. It's not for anything else to happen, but you're in the presence of God.
Yeah, and I think often when people don't experience, I think there's that barrier, or maybe I'm not worthy for me to experience. It's not that it's not about your worthiness. I think shame is a big barrier, or shame. If you have shame, going to God, like the prodigal son who, he was held back, but then still he came back. We have to take off that barrier of shame as well. When that attitude have to change, that God only comes to worthy people. No, He died when we were sinners. So
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I think with that, even some people, they just sit for prayer, and then like Robin said, they want that experience. But at the end of the day, you're not sitting there for that experience or for that feeling, oh, I get that, I get this. No, you just sit there in prayer. You're doing it for God. But sometimes, yes, He gives those lollipop or rainbow moments.
Yeah.
But sometimes it would be just darkness. I know I was reading a book called Come Be My Light by Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa was in darkness for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And everything she did, she thought she was doing it wrong. She was serving the poor, she was serving the sick, everything. But she thought, oh, God is not pleasing with me. Am I meant to do this? So many doubts and so many confusions. But we know now, with hindsight, who Mother Teresa is.
Yeah.
So it's just a barrier for people to sit in prayer. I think that's where the methods of prayer comes in, right? One way would be to sit in silence. I think that's a beautiful way to pray. Sit in silence and listening to the voice of God.
Definitely.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't know. I can probably count hundreds of times I've sat in adoration, not said anything. Usually adoration people full going out, praising and worshipping, which is one form, which is one method, like you say, and being in silence is another method. I'm sure there's plenty more.
Yeah, there's also intercessory prayers.
Yep, powerful. Yep.
Oh, 100%. There's offering Holy Mass. There's so many, even just praying the Rosary. That's a big, beautiful prayer.
Sure.
Yeah, you're using Mother Mary's intercession. What else? Do you have any other?
I mean, look, one aspect, like you said, there's hundreds. You could go, even those little the Divine Mercy chaplets and the whole lot. I know when everyone's busy, you're like, oh, I can't say a whole rosary. Oh, let's just say Divine Mercy chaplet.
Yeah.
I've heard so much youth say that. So many youth say that, and it's powerful in itself as well. I think a big thing about this is implementing the prayer. Even though we know and the method of prayer, and although we know how our attitude should be, we should know how to implement it, because it's not good having all the seeds in your hand without sowing it, whether it be in your life or whether it be in other people's lives. I think the biggest thing here is knowing that there's thanksgiving prayer, knowing that there's intercessory prayer and different kinds of prayer. We shouldn't be just running to God when we need help or when we need I need something, so therefore I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray till I get it. But once I get it, I'm gonna just not pray as much because I've already got it, right? Until I need the next thing.
Yeah, I think I've heard many, not many youth, but they say, before the exam I pray a lot, but
Yeah.
then that they say it in a funny way.
Mm.
Like, so if I say to them, oh, God will do it for you, they're like, oh, I ran to God before exam, but they say it in a funny way, so it's not like they don't it doesn't come from their heart.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have that inner sense of guilt or shame that I only go when I have an exam, but they
Yeah.
really want to go at other times as well, and that's holding them back. That shame and guilt is holding them back from actually asking God for help.
Yeah, and it's that and
Yeah.
it's that mask or that shame that's
Yeah.
there, which is not getting God to them or them going to God sort of
Yeah.
thing. It's that barrier. But even then, for people that are struggling with prayer and they're saying, look, I've got everything I need. God has given me everything. I don't know what to pray about. There's plenty of scenarios of intercessory prayer. There's plenty of people that need your prayer, and there's plenty of people that don't have anyone to pray for. So the perfect avenue is to use those, whether it's to use the right attitude with the right methods and implementing it in the right way. And on that note, guys, that was episode 2, season 2. We'll catch you in the next episode.